Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 6. And I'm super excited to be able to share this episode with you, the 5 to 9 phenomenon. And this is a really, really key episode, especially as a code for freedom, because this is what allowed me to have an element of freedom. A matter of fact, I kind of coined this phrase: what you do from 5 to 9 will determine what you do from 9 to 5. I'll say that again in case somebody missed it. What you do from 5 to 9 will determine what you do from 9 to 5. And, oftentimes when I was working in corporate America, I felt like almost like a Clark Kent, right? And then as soon as 5 o'clock came, I'm looking at the clock, and as soon as 5 o'clock came, I felt like I ran out the door, went in the bathroom, put my cape on, and it was time to go live that 5 to 9 lifestyle. So what does that look like? Obviously you spend time with your family, and you do all the things that you do when you're not working, but it would be a shame to spend all those hours working for someone else and then coming home and not putting some kind of effort or energy into building your own business, right? Because that's what's going to allow you to have the freedom that you desire is what you're building for yourself. One of my mentors, he says, look, if your ladder is against someone else's building, you're building someone else's dream. And hey, obviously, maybe you're in a situation where you got to provide, you have to pay the bills, but why not put yourself in a situation where you're not just paying the bills, but you're building a fortune, you're building a legacy, you're building your dreams. And so just think about that. Are you one of the type of folks who come home and you do everything, handle everything that you got to do, and then you just zone out? Or do you give a little bit of energy, a little bit of time? We're not talking about, spending the wee hours of the night. Now, if you want to do that, great, right? But what we're saying is at least an hour, at least 2 hours a day, or maybe more than that, but at least spending some kind of energy so that at some point you can replace that income. Now, listen, I know I get it. Some people love their job. Some people love what they do, and they can't see themselves doing anything else. But I'm talking to those of you who are like, listen, there's so much more for me, and I want to have impact, not just have income. I want to leave a legacy. I want to be free. I want to be in a situation where I can call the shots, and not have to ask anyone. If that's you, then your 5 to 9 situation has to be so planned out. It has to be to a point where it's systemic, because this is my time. This is my time that I have. It's kind of like the philosophy from The Richest Man in Babylon. It talks about paying yourself first. Well, what I would say is, that's from a financial standpoint, which I agree with that philosophy. But what about paying yourself some of your time first as well? Giving yourself some time so that every single day that time can compound itself to a place where things are just happening for you, to a place where you can start having choices and options, because you started to build something that's starting to catch wind. It's starting to kind of like a snowball going up a hill. It may be tough in the beginning as you're pushing it up the hill, but once you get that thing up the hill, it eventually starts to roll on its own. And then you get to a place where it's almost like it's costing you to be at the job, because now you become more valuable in the marketplace. You got things happening, people are depending on you, you got more responsibilities, and now you're in a place where you can have decisions, you can make choices, because you dedicated that 5 to 9 time frame. So this is something that was really, really key for me, and I really thought I'd just share it with you guys. This is a short episode, but I think it's an impactful one if you really internalize it, and if you really, envision what is that 5 to 9 going to look like for me? When can I fit this in? When can I fit that in? And again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying to come home and just negate family and negate other responsibilities and obligations. But what I am saying is you just gave someone else 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And I get it. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you don't have the energy, but you got to muster up enough energy so that you can build your dreams, right? Because someone's depending on you. Somebody is depending on you to make it. Somebody's depending on your exampleship. Somebody is depending on you accomplishing something that you own, that you control, that you can really kind of sink your teeth in and say, hey, look, this is something that I built. You can step back and be proud of it because you did it. Of course, you did it with maybe a team, maybe you did it with a group of people. But the key is that you really spend the time and the energy to build something solid that, hey, maybe you can pass on to your children's children, and you can leave that inheritance, and you can, you can travel the world and have more freedom and flexibility because you built it. So, hey, who's gonna be Superman after 5, right? But until then, just keep the mindset. And it's so funny because when I was in corporate America, I was I was almost talked about a little bit with. I would take my planner and I would go do some work on my lunch break. I would take, if I had an hour lunch, I would take 30 minutes with my planner. I'm sorry, I would take 30 minutes and I would eat lunch, and I would take the other 30 minutes and I'd be working my business, right? Because I knew that I had to give it as much time as I could. And I knew I had slithers of time. So even on the way home, maybe there were a few people that I could call on the way home. And so every opportunity, every ounce that I could get, I wanted to. It's kind of like the toothpaste uh, philosophy. You have some who, once you get done with the toothpaste, you just throw it out, and then you have some who like, man, I'm getting everything out of this bad boy, right? And you just rolling it up, and you're gonna get as much of it out as you can before you throw it out. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to get as much from the day. One of my mentors, he says, don't just get through the day, get from the day. How much can you get from the day, so that you can have so much value, so much impact that you have to be paid some serious profits in return because of all the value that you brought to the marketplace. So listen, this is episode 6. I hope you guys got some value from it, and I appreciate you for tuning in. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.